The votes are in, it's time to see what this town is meant to be. Together strong we'll cast our say, build tomorrow from today. Side by side we make the call, every voice it counts them all. A team of hearts with plans to share, for every soul we're standing there. It's in the ballot, it's in our hands. Together we rise and take a stand. For every dream, for every need, community spirit is our creed. The vote is here to pave the way, working hard both night and day, delivering hope, delivering dreams. We are the ones who fuel the streams.
Welcome back to It's in the Ballot. I'm Nick Hollander, your host, and today we have all three candidates here. Well, two in studio, one coming in remote. And so, hopefully we're going to have a great show. Now, I would like to say thank you for Sophie for being our question host. Sorry, we're running a little late. That's right. All right. Before we start with the opening statements, I will. We'll start with opening statements, and then I'll explain how the game works. All right. Richard, would you like to go first?
Richard Young. I'm assuming at this point you can hear me, and we'll crack on. Richard Young. I've lived in Raumati for something over 10 years, and I've been a professional engineer for over 40 years. I'm passionate about our community. You may well have seen this ugly face driving those little trains at the Raumati miniature railway. Also helping out with the school cycle to school bike bus. We face some real challenges over the next triennium. Cost of living crisis, the economy is absolutely fundamental to getting our community through this and making sure we make really sound decisions there. I'd like to bring my skills as a professional engineer and also the amount of work I've done on infrastructure to assist council, and most importantly to represent the amazing people of both Paekākāriki and also Raumati. It's great to see Sophie here and also with Bede and Zelda. So hopefully it's going to be a fun afternoon. So thank you for your time. Tēnā koe.
Richard, all right. Bede.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Bede Larissy. I'm standing for the Paekākāriki Raumati ward, obviously. I've got a lifelong connection to Kapiti, having grown up in half of my growing up life in Paekākāriki and lived in Raumati for the last 20 years. We've also been a business person in Raumati village, where my wife and I have got a couple of retail stores. For the last 3 years, I've been chair of the Raumati Community Board, and honestly, it's very proud to have served for those 3 years. We've been really active in terms of putting the people of our community first, really trying to build a connected, vibrant community and make sure that we sensibly lead this community through all sorts of issues. You may have heard of issues such as the coastal adaptation, which we've really led the way on through the last couple of years. We developed our Vision for Raumati project, which really was a chance to speak to our community, hear from them and figure out what they wanted from us. And all sorts of other things like that. I've got a big long list that we've recently put together in my chair's report, my last community board. I really want to now step it up from there and see where I can elevate the voice of our community into council in a deeper way, support the community board, support both our community boards in Paekākāriki and Raumati to make sure that their voice is heard on every issue. So looking forward to some questions. Thanks.
Zelda.
I'm going to put my walking stick over here. I'm scared it's going to fall over and knock something. Kia ora koutou. Ko Zelda Edwards taku ingoa. So great to see you here, and also hello to those of you online. With me, you get a fresh face. I'm the only candidate standing that supports Toitū Te Tiriti, and that is meaningful to me. It is so important. I'm also the only candidate here that is committed to running this role full-time. I've managed $1 million budgets in government and television productions and arts festivals. I became the youngest president of the Women in Film and Television Board in my 20s. I've got lots of experience in government as a communications specialist in health and science. But what really prepares me for this role is actually my work as a cleaner, my work as an activities coordinator in aged care, and working in the community as a fitness instructor, because that's where I see the differences we can be made. So thank you so much for coming here tonight, and let's play the game. I'm looking forward to it.
Well said, well said. All right, so before we start, I'm going to explain how it works. The candidates take turns choosing a boxed question between 1 and 28. They then have 1 minute to answer the question. Each candidate also has 2 butt-in cards and 1 defer. If they want to answer a question that a different candidate has chosen, they can use their button card, and they have 1 minute to answer the question after the candidate who chose it finishes. If they get a question they do not want to answer, they can use their defer card to defer it to another candidate. Has to be one that is standing for this ward. All right, so let's start it. All right, so Zelda.
Kia ora. So we actually do have them this time?
We have them this time, yep.
All right, so this time I'm going to go rua te kaumārima. 25.
Maybe your mic, otherwise those at home.
Oh, Jay. Sophie was saying Jay. You can tell I haven't done this before.
These questions, are they right?
Sorry, team. Oh, gosh. Oh.
Okay.
Everyone brace yourself, brace yourself. Okay, is this the question that we're...
I'm glad how you finished that sentence.
A lot of respect for you guys pulling this together. Is this the question that we're rolling with?
We are going to roll with Jay.
Jay. Cool.
I will now bring up the correct Jay.
Awesome. So, in what ways will you foster accountability, such as regular updates or community reporting for local projects and budgets?
Oh, this is a great question. Well, I love budgets because I'm a nerd and I love spreadsheets. They're so much fun. But I think there's a lot of work that council can do much better. I know they've improved their reporting. They've got great use of plain English, but we can do more in this space. There's more we can do where other councils are running live dashboards. So we can actually easily visually get a representation of what's happening in real time with these projects. Because let's be honest, a lot of these reports are absolutely necessary for accountability, But who really has the time to read all these giant 100-page reports? Well, I guess that will be me if I'm elected, because it's my job. But I think we can make this accessibility so much better. We can be using easy reads as well for disabled people. What works for them works for all of us. So let's just do that.
I like it. I like it. All right. Next up, Pete.
All right, how about Te Ko Mā Toru?
Te Ko Mā Toru, 13. We can do that. Question A. Do you support political party endorsement of local government candidates?
Sorry, did somebody see me coming on this one? Your really easy answer for me, no. I've been really clear on that for the last 3 elections. I've posted consistently. In fact, I've just put a post on my page last night. No. Political parties run the risk of playing an undue influence on our community decisions, and I think we need people at the table who are willing to make their decisions free of that kind of influence. We need people that are willing to put their people first, and the reality is that if you're in local government, you don't know who the central government's going to be, and you need to be able to work with any of them. So I say no, which I'm pretty firm about, so thank you.
All right, Richard.
Let's keep it simple. Let's go with box number 1, please.
Box number 1. Cool. We have B. How would you stand up for your community interests if it differs from your own position?
That's a great question. Thanks, Sophie. Let's unpack that. The chances that what I represent and what the community has elected me to represent are going to be vastly different. I probably wouldn't get elected if it was fundamentally different from what I believed what the community interest was. So there's one thing that's going to work in everybody's favour. You elect the people who you believe represent what you believe, and you go forward on that basis. As to conversations, those conversations never finish. Conversations always have to be respectful, and whether they're with individuals or representative groups, as your ward councillor, I would go out of my way to have those conversations on all those subjects with representative groups and also with individuals. We've got to remember that the people that always shout loudest aren't necessarily the majority. So we do need to strive to hear the quiet voices. And my chance will be to listen to those quiet voices as well as the people making lots of noise. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. All right, round 2, and the new random list is Pete.
Right, let's go number 9.
Number 9, Iwa. We have M.
M for Mancy.
Do you support reviewing council's spending priorities before turning to further rate increases?
In principle, yes. The problem is by the time you get elected and get into the induction and start to even understand what's going on in council, a lot of the next annual plan will have already been on its way, so you won't have a lot of chance to revisit everything first. But I think, we've got top 10 priorities in council at the moment. A new council will revisit those top 10 priorities and we'll start to look at what matters to us. And one voice we cannot ignore in this election is the fact that across this community, everybody is putting pressure on us to reduce rates. So we need to make sure that we prioritise things with that in mind. So we definitely need to prioritise prioritising to keep rates down.
Richard.
Richard, which box number would you like?
Box number 2, please.
Oh, I
Box
like you.
number 2.
Nice and easy.
AB.
For Alpha Bravo. Or all better.
Cool. Is it fair to say Greater Wellington Regional Council has deviated away from providing core services to the community?
Are we sure? So AB, did we say?
Yes.
Kapiti counts. Yeah. Okay. I'd look around and what services is Kapiti Council providing that are not core services? Yeah, the vast majority of the work we see that council does, and it does it pretty well, are core services. That doesn't mean to say that there is stuff on the periphery that we need to have a look at, nor is it saying there are not cost savings to be had within council. But do I believe that Kapiti District Council has deviated away from core services? I think on the whole, no. I think there are things we certainly need to refocus on. We do have a hugely growing, positively growing community and environment, and we do need to make the plans to make sure that the infrastructure that we provide is fit for purpose. So that is one of the key things, and that is absolutely a core service that we need to make sure that council deliver on. So do I think that they've deviated away from core services? No, probably 5-6% we could probably have a look at, but the rest of it is pretty much core services. So that's my perspective. And if you elect me as your ward councillor, I'll be looking to make sure we get absolute value for money for the rates that are your money and is spent wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Zelda.
Tacoma Fitu, 17.
No, 17.
Y for yellow. How will you work with the Greater Wellington Regional Council to ensure that the transport needs will be delivered to meet the extraordinary growth? Oh, oi,
Sorry.
that's
This
okay.
is- no, it's because there was a question mismatched before.
No worries.
Yeah, sorry. That was
It's okay.
me trying to figure out what the hell's gone wrong.
Technical
We're back on this
difficulties.
question. All good. So yeah, we'll just go from extraordinary growth that is happening along the Kapiti coast.
Good save.
Thank you. Such a good question because there's so much growth predicted to happen. I think it's about lobbying for what's right, lobbying with Greater Wellington Regional Council for what partnerships we can do that benefit both. And then understanding the legislation and the Local Government Act of where appropriate to. But yeah, I think collaboration, relationships, and also being realistic. You know, you can dream big, but you need to kind of get that middle ground right. Yep.
All right, round 3. And we'll start with Zelda.
All right. Tacoma Fa. 14.
Martha. We have V, I'm going to say.
Maybe that is me.
That's
V.
Okay.
V for violin. How should the council manage development and population changes in the ward to support livability and infrastructure sustainability?
That's such a good question because I guess all of these things are happening right now if you look at all the other developments. So I think it's grounding everything in within the community. We need to fund growth for growth because if we keep growing and we're not funding our infrastructure appropriately, we're going to get into big problems. We need to think ahead. We need to be bold. We need to also think about what does the next 10 years look like? What does the next 50 years look like for my grandchildren? Because right now we've got a whole pile of developments of 3-bedroom homes. We actually don't need 3-bedroom homes anymore. We need a lot of 1- and 2-bedroom homes. My parents are stuck in their beautiful home, which they're very privileged that they own a home, and that's very lucky. But they've been trying to downsize for the last 5 years, and even building a tiny home on our property wasn't financially viable. So I think there's a lot more work to do in that space. And if I get elected and inducted, then I'll learn a whole pile more because there's so much to learn and there's so much to know. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in that space. Thank you.
Thank you, Zelda. Pete.
Right, 22.
22. Taylor Swift song. O for orange. Do you support borrowing to fund major infrastructure, or should we focus on a pay-as-you-go model?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Back in the day when a community wanted to build a hall, they'd all get together and build it, right? Then as communities grew, we figured out that we needed to kind of raise the money first and then pay somebody to do it. But now what we do in this modern era is we borrow, and we do everything on borrowing. One of the reasons we do that is because if we build a hall, it might last 50 years. And so there's an equity issue there in terms of the people who are using it, the people who are paying for it. At heart, I actually prefer the concept that we would build something now that our grandchildren would use at our cost. But in reality, I think we've passed that point, that the world's changed and we can't turn back that clock. So the reality is we do need to keep borrowing for our major infrastructure, but we need to make sure the infrastructure is right, and we need to make sure that the borrowing is kept in check.
Thank you very much. Richard.
Okay, well, let's go with number 3, please.
Number 3. G for giraffe. How will you collaborate with community boards like Paekākāriki and Raumati to amplify grassroots voices?
Sure. Now, producer just asked me to wait 5 seconds so we can switch the cameras. I think that's done now. Look, community boards fill an absolutely invaluable purpose. Are they solely to distribute grants and to be a sounding board for the local list of local issues? Or should they almost take on like a mini parliament for that community and almost some planning activities? I believe it fits probably partway in the middle there. We have fantastically a wide range of superb community board candidates for both Raumati and Paekākāriki boards. So those community boards are great places for starting conversations, and as ward councillor, absolutely be completely embedded within the community board and looking to work with them. Both the ward councillor and community board have slightly different responsibilities. I think everybody recognises that. And it's also making sure that it's not just the loudest voices in the room that are heard, but it's all the voices in the room that are heard, and even the people that aren't in the room at that time. Thank you.
All right, who's ready for round 4?
Let's go.
That's what I like to hear. All right, and random name generator, Beat.
Okay, me again. About 15.
15. We have E for elephant.
One in the room.
Always.
See if we're going to call it out. Yeah. How will you balance key local projects, including community amenities, with fiscally responsible budgeting?
Look, that is core business of council, right? We do that every year through the annual plans, through the long-term plans. Clearly, we always get the balance wrong because people are always complaining. But we need to keep on making sure that we get that balance right. I mean, how we do it, we keep talking to the community. We get a really good understanding of what it is that people want, what it is they need. Have to be careful with the wants, of course, because sometimes the reality is we have to say no matter how much you want it. To balance that budget, sometimes it means a project not going ahead. And I think in a time of really crisis, what we've got at the moment in terms of people's incomes being tight and rates increasing, we've really got to be willing to say no more often and focus on really good quality basic infrastructure.
And we have a button from Richard.
You do indeed. Look, infrastructure and local projects, there is no magic money tree. Everything has to be paid for, whether it's through debt or through rates. The bulk of our spending is obviously unavoidable. We all want clean water, we all want sewage, and we all want safe roads. Working within council as a ward councillor, I'd obviously used my expertise on the engineering side, delivering infrastructure. We also got the nice to haves, the things that make Kapiti Kapiti, our parks, our reserves, our pools, and our reserves. These are things that make our place special. So let's not say that these aren't essential. Let's not say that we can do without these. but let's have those real hard conversations about what we can afford to do, especially over the next triennium, where the cost of living is really going to be hurting people and is already really hurting people hard. So let's be responsible. Let's prioritize what is essential, what makes Kapiti Kapiti, and the other things we might just have to park for a while.
Need more community engagement. If you were listening to the previous session for the community board, we don't actually have enough people actively participating. Council's doing well, but there's so much more that we can do to engage with our community. If you bring them along the journey, you're going to get far less complaints. You're going to get co-designed systems that suit the people that live there. I've done this in health. We've got the data, the evidence and the lived experience to show this is actually how we build thriving communities. I also want to button on Richard on that, saying what's essential and what's not. What are you prepared to cut, Richard? Would you say arts is something we should cut? I want to point out that Māori Land just this year contributed $6.8 million to the Otaki community. They brought, that's 144 for every dollar that was invested by council. They also brought 25,000 visitors from 31 different nations to Aotearoa, New Zealand. So we need to be innovative, we need to be bold, we need to be brave, we need to invest in projects that are going to pay off in the future. And not only that, they're enjoyable for everyone.
Oh, and to follow tradition, Zelda.
10.
Q.
For whale.
Queen.
Queen,
My
but-
first
but
thing that
sort
came
of-
to my mind was quiche. I don't know why, but queen. How will you balance? Oh,
I'm a bit slow.
there we go. How do you plan to partner with community groups and boards to drive practical environmental action at the local level?
It's close to my heart. So I'm standing for the board, I'm also standing for the community board, so that's going to be really helpful if I'm elected. But grassroots is the most important thing here. And working with iwi that are already doing incredible things to Whanamoku stream, to protecting our awa, it's already happening. So it's about already being involved in those projects. It's not about consulting. It's about already having your own stake and your heart in all these projects already. And that's why I've decided to stand as a politician, because these are so important to me. And without our water, what have we got in the future? Is that enough?
Can I butt in?
For you, yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Not to disagree with anything Zelda said, because I think what I've heard is really good, but I just want to really talk about what I have done as a community board chair in this space, so what I would kind of increase at ward level. So one really good example, last year, the Whaitua project delivered to Kapiti. I approached their chair and said, look, come to our community board and talk about the waterways, fresh waterways in the Raumati area. They did that, and we had, to give her dues, Penny Gaylor turned up from Greater Wellington. We had Aroha Sprinks, and we had Councillor Jocelyn Pravanov. From a really good presentation, but from out of that, we had an idea, hey, let's create a vision for the Whanamoku stream. We gathered together all of the key interest groups that are involved in that stream, and we developed that vision. And then we got together and we formed a group, and we meet now once a month to really advocate for that stream, to look at what's happening across the stream and to be able to support all of the work streams that are happening across the length of it. And we're working with people like Whale Song and Coastlands and all these people, friends of the Whanamoku, to advocate for the stream and to just to look after the well-being of it. So I just do more of that.
All right. Richard.
Let's go with number 4, please, Nick.
Number 4. We have L for lion. How will you ensure public funds and grant allocations managed by local boards and the council remain transparent and equitably distributed?
Okay, my experience is that the system for public funds and grants allocation actually works pretty well, whether it's through community boards or the council. So it's very much a question of carrying on, keep on doing the great stuff that has been going through those different committees. The one thing I would specifically want to change is prevent those meetings going into public excluded when they're discussing allocations of grants to organisations. I've actually challenged council on the legality of that. You generally only go into public excluded when you're talking about individuals. So to go to public excluded when you're talking about grant allocations to organisations, I think council should make a ruling that that is not appropriate and that those meetings should be held in public. So to make sure that we get that complete transparency and the reporting back of success and lessons learned is absolutely paramount. So that would be my take on that one. Thank you.
All right. And if my mind has not failed me, we're up to round 5. So, Richard.
Oh, let's go for number 5 then.
Nice.
No.
Number 5. D for dog. We're waiting on the next. There we go. How willing are you to work with local hapu and iwi at a councillor level?
Okay, look, I read that question. We're sent the questions about 24 hours early just to sort of get them. And I wonder what the purpose was of this question, because why would any elected member not be willing to work with hapu or iwi? Of course, I'd be perfectly willing to work with hapu or iwi. Mana whenua have a really special place in our community, in the country and in the district. So yeah, it's a bit of a non-question. Of course, any councillor should, and I definitely would, work with hapu and iwi. They are representing their tribe and sub-tribe. So absolutely. So are you willing to work with local hapu and iwi at a councillor level? Heck yes, absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Zelda.
Oh, what do we got? Let's go Takoma Tahi. Takoma Tahi, 11.
X for xylophone.
Or exhibit.
As a councillor, how would you work collaboratively with your fellow councillors to deliver on your promises?
Great idea. I think it's good relationships, but also being brave to stick up and stand up for yourself for what's right. There's always going to be a tension on any issue, but I think if you can be respectful, you can hear each other out, stop butting in on each other, actually let them have a say, and think deeply, because sometimes, and I know especially working in government, in central government, sometimes my life will be changed. But I think it's really important that all the voices are at the table that need to be at the table. So that means electing not everyone who looks like each other. We need a variety of different people. The more diverse, the better the council outcomes are going to be.
Indeed.
Let's go with 28.
Double A, like the battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I was going to say aardvark.
Oh, even better. Even better.
What is the biggest challenge facing Kapiti?
Oh, one word, rates. I mean, that's the easy answer, right? That is the single most, I would say, talking to people across Kapiti and listening to other people who are talking to people across Kapiti, the single biggest issue that people are talking about is rates, and that's a beast we need to grapple with. I would also say less tangibly social unity. I think that we've got a problem of, we talk about the issues that social media brings, but also I think just politically there's the danger of division that end in social divisions. There are fewer things since COVID bringing people back together to get us past those divisions. And I think we need more reasons to bring people together, to see past those things and bring them into unison again. And not sameness, but certainly coming together and being willing to talk again.
And I believe we have a button from Richard. Are my beliefs correct?
I'm going to take a different view. Yeah, I'll take a different view on this one. The biggest challenges facing Kapiti is our growth. We are growing because we are a place that people want to come and live in. And that places huge strains on our infrastructure, on housing, on transport, everything that we've been speaking about so far. That is our biggest challenge. And as a result of that, that is why rates are under pressure. So the biggest challenge we have is how to make Kapiti still that attractive place to be, how we can encourage people to come and make their homes here, first home, second home, family home, forever home, but also make sure that we are cognizant that people are suffering financially at the moment. There is a cost of living crisis. We have some great long-term plans, but we also have some really acute short-term issues, and that's the rates issue. But the biggest challenge that we have on the Kapiti Coast is our growth and how we plan and how we fund a growing district for everybody. Thank you.
And we have a button from Zelda.
Microphone. I agree and I disagree. I think it's a bit more nuanced than that, and I think the problem is the nuance around rates. I lost my microphone.
Yes, this one's working.
Hold the mic. I know I'm breaking all the mics. Do we reset it or I just go for gold? Okay, thank you. Okay, I think rates are a problem, but I also think the narrative around rates is more nuanced. And I think council needs more accountability for telling this story more accurately. We need to understand the complexities. We don't just want leaflets with numbers, because that's all fine and good, but we actually need the story to understand. We need to understand why the QV of houses have gone up and the part that that's played. We need to understand choosing to keep water in-house, which is a good thing, but we need to understand that now that central government's not paying for it, that also plays a part too. And there's a lot more things than that. And so I think council must front foot this. So we can't rely on rates solely. We need to look into more partnerships. We need to look into more revenue, and we need to invest, such as Māori land. We need to see what are the other things that we're missing in science, tech, arts, and sports. There's so much more things we can create that can bring more wealth back into our community. And thank you, Bede, for giving me a microphone.
Very kind.
Always want to hear your voice, Zelda.
Oh, I don't think mine would work either.
Oh no, Sophie, you can
share. Oh, thanks for passing the mic to me now. It's gone around. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we very sharing community here. I love it. I love it. All right. Hopefully, it's the shape of things to come. All right. So next round. And Bede, you're up.
Okay, let's go with number 7.
Number 7, can do. 52. We have Z for zebra. Or Zelda. What are your thoughts on rate capping?
Yeah, okay. This is an issue that we're dealing with at the moment. I think the simple answer, no. I think the problem, it depends if we're talking about, you can have a hard cap and a soft cap. And I think a hard cap is a no, because it may constrain council unrealistically and make it too hard to do the basic stuff that we need to do. But I think a soft cap of some kind it's sort of what we have when we say, well, we want to keep rates under 7%, knowing that, we might get to 6, we might get to 6.1. The bigger issue, though, beyond that is we're always talking about these averages. So we talk about, okay, well, 7% rate rise, but then people get their bill and they say, well, how comes mine's 15%? How comes mine's 20%? And actually that causes a lot of friction. I think we need clearer information on the range of rates rise, not just the average. And I think we need to look at, when we do see that range, we need to look at getting the high range down, not just the average.
Richard. What question would you like?
Number 6, please. Yeah.
We have W for whale. What experience or skills do you bring to ensure sound financial governance and decision making?
Okay. Look, well, I think perhaps one of the most important thing is I actually own a home, and the money that we spend as rates is ratepayer money. Therefore, the way that we look after our own money at home is the same level of scrutiny that councillors should bring to the rates when they look at how we're spending our rates. So that's the sort of the first one. I've also got something like 40 years experience of delivering infrastructure, running my own businesses, delivering major hundreds of millions of dollars of projects for government agencies. So I do have significant skills to do financial measurement. Absolutely agree what Zelda said. Yep, let's get some more interactive metrics produced on how our projects are going. It's not complicated, it's not difficult, and it does not only empower people to see what's going on, but it also puts the onus on people delivering them to make sure they're delivering value for money. So that's my skills, a lot of skills on infrastructure, and also having my own home and budgeting for that as well. Thank you.
And we have a button from Bede.
Yeah, we do. Probably a lot like Richard. I've been in business for myself, so I've got that. You know, I'm a homeowner, much the same. I've got a legal background, so I can pick apart legal ideas. I'm also trade certified as a chef, so I have a kind of a practical understanding things as well. I've slept in, you know, very expensive hotels, and I've slept in a cardboard box under a church roof. So, you know, I have a very diverse experience of life. But I just want to pick up one thing that Richard said as to distinguish how I think about it. I don't agree that the same amount of scrutiny that we put on our private budgets is what we should put on our budgets in council. I actually think the problem there is that if I want to go and spend all my money on a tree or bowling balls or something, that's up to me. It doesn't affect anybody else. If I overspend in council, that affects other people who may not have the choice as to how I spend that money. So we actually need to accept that the money that we spend in council is public money. It's sometimes forced out of people's hands, not given by choice. And we need to show value. We need to uphold a very high level of scrutiny when we spend that money. It's far beyond our own personal money.
Thank you, Bede. Zelda.
Hi. I wanted to butt in, but I ran out. Thank you.
You did, but that's okay.
Did I already say Rua Takoma Tahi?
Cool.
Maybe that was the last one. All right.
T for turtle. We're really going with the animal theme.
I love it.
Making a zoo. How would you balance long-term asset renewal, e.g. pipes, roads, water, with keeping rates manageable?
Great question. And I think that's such an important role for any councillor to take. It's always balanced. There's always going to be a tension. There's always going to be a struggle. I think sequencing of the projects makes a huge difference in getting deliverables on budget and on time. I'd be using my strength in my budgeting skills in government and film sets and arts festivals. I want to say though, as an artist, when you come to the community board and you get just like $500 because actually you don't have much money and you need that, and that $500 is meaningful, we have to do huge reports. Our accountability is massive. So why is that out of balance? That's something that's always bugged me. And I think council should be answerable. And if we make a decision that's not favourable, for example, professional development, then we need to front foot it and we need to share that knowledge back with our community, back with our small businesses, back with the Chamber of Commerce, because maybe it was a good idea, we just didn't understand the narrative of the why. And if you can get the why right, then people will understand.
Okay. Richard.
Has number 8 gone yet?
Number
yes,
8?
it's gone, I believe.
No, it hasn't.
Oh.
You can have number 8.
Ah. Okay, I'm playing a different game, I think.
U for unicorn. How would you ensure new housing developments are matched by investment in transport, water, and community facilities?
It pretty much comes back to the answer I've been giving earlier on. Yeah, we are a growing community, and that is good, but it brings pressures. The key thing is council does have a mechanism. It is the development contributions that the council can require or do require developers to make. So when new properties go in, new upgrades to water supply, sewage, even public transport, we're seeing large areas that are going to be developed, and there doesn't appear to be much provision there for public transport. So let's work with regional council and let's make sure that the development contributions that are, yes, extracted from developers, which means it goes on the property price of those new properties, are absolutely converted into the new physical and the new social infrastructure that we need to keep this community vibrant. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, now this will probably be our last round before we take a break and go to hard-hitting questions. So, new random order, Bede.
All right. Let's go 18, seeing as it's, I can see it. Cool.
We have N for, what's an animal starting with? Nelly? N. Many residents feel disconnected from council decision making. How will you improve transparency and community engagement?
Yeah, I think this is one of the big areas where we need to improve things. And it's not just that I think it needs to happen, but people that I talk to are often complaining about this issue of feeling disconnected. I've seen at my time at council table as a community board chair, I've seen people's voices closed down and shut out. I've seen people leave thinking they haven't been heard, haven't been understood. And that really is the basis of a lot of friction. People don't feel that they're part of the decision-making process because either they don't have the opportunity to input their voice or their voice just simply isn't heard. And I think democracy is predicated on the idea that ordinary citizens can influence decision-making. So if our ordinary citizens are feeling that way, then there's something wrong with the system. So we need to make sure that those people have the chance to come in and talk. And as we've heard talked about a lot today in both of these sessions, through all kinds of ways, it's not all about just coming to council, but through every way that we can reach people and we can connect with people, we need to do that. And we need to make sure those voices are heard. We need to make sure that every single person in this district has the opportunity to influence decisions.
Okay, Zelda.
Is it the same question?
No.
Oh, I
You
forgot.
choose a new one.
Oh, I
Sorry.
ran out of button cards.
You
Can I have some
did.
more? Am I allowed more?
Sorry,
No.
sorry, not this
Look,
time.
if you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly.
Could I please have Takuma Iwa, number 19?
Sure thing.
I like your logic.
S for snake. How will you ensure Kapiti Coast District Council is prepared for climate change impacts like flooding and coastal erosion?
Awesome question and so important. This can be quite a triggering question for some people, but hand on heart, I love working with scientists, and I love communicating with scientists, and I trust scientists. I also trust mana whenua, because they've lived on this land long before we came here. And there's so many simple things that we can actually do to help support this. And whether you believe it or not, it's happening. Has anyone in the room been to Kiribati lately? Anyone online? And you can choose, you can disagree with me, that's fine. But I'll work with the experts. I'll work with the community. I'll work with the people, even if it's not popular, because we need to prepare for these things ahead of time. And that's what saves lives. And that's what keeps communities thriving. There's simple things that we can even be doing, like planting more trees on a basic level to protect people from skin cancer. Flip it that way, whether you like climate change or that's too triggering. There's more we can do in this space to look after our biodiversity, to look after our environment, and to look after the future generation here. That's important.
Richard, your turn. Richard, your turn to choose a box.
Yeah, if you can hear me, number 12, please. Thanks very much.
You've been quite methodical about this, Richard, going for starting at 1.
I have a list.
We'll go with K for Kapiti.
Nice.
What's your position on extending rail electrification beyond Waikanae toward Otaki, and what might this mean for Paekākāriki Raumati residents?
Okay, well, here's a little story. As I sit on my little electric train, driving children and adults around Raumati Gardens, I think about the big trains down the end of the road, the trains that currently stop in Waikanae. And I wonder why they ever stopped in Waikanae and they didn't continue all the way through to Otaki. Of course, it's in the history of why it happened and why those trains never went as far as Otaki and even Levin. I'm going to spin the question a little bit because there is a solution in progress as we speak. Yeah, there are new trains in manufacture that are going to allow extension of rail services north from Waikanae on a regular basis. It's probably going to be the single most beneficial public transport for the north of the district we've seen in 40 years. It's very late coming, but absolutely, it's going to connect Otaki with places to the south, far easier than they are with their 1 or 2 buses at the moment. And that's only good for Raumati, for Paekākāriki, more chance to come down to the wonderful cafes in Paekākāriki as well. Thank you.
And there are some wonderful cafes in Paekākāriki, as well as Raumati, don't get me wrong. All right. So we're going to take a 10-minute break, and we will be back with hard-hitting questions. Oops, I'm still live, I think. Are we clear?
We're taking a pause, just a short little breather to stretch out your legs. You don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now, you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Into the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. short little breather to stretch out your legs. You don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now, you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Into the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. The lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime.
Oh shit, don't panic, but it's almost time to get back to the show. The candidates have stretched their legs, been partying, taking a break. There's still hard-hitting questions, closing statements and stuff you wanna know. So grab those snacks for their answers and prep for decisions you need to make. Oh, 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 oh. The candidates have stretched their leg. The candidates have stretched their legs, been partying, taking a break. Closing statements and stuff you wanna know. So grab the snack you wanna know. So grab those snacks, here the answers and prep for decisions you need to make. Oh, 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 oh. moments near, your voice is loud, it's crystal clear. Kiwi dreams and hopes collide. Choose the ones who'll stand with pride. It's in the ballot where we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your ward, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine. The future's written in your hand. The chance to guide and take a stand. Community rising, hearts aligned. In total we shape this land divine. It's in the balance here, the moments near, your voice is loud, it's crystal clear. Kiwi dreams and hopes collide. Choose the ones who'll stand with pride. It's in the ballot where we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your ward, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine. The future's written in your hand. The chance to guide and take a stand. Community rising, hearts aligned. In total we shape this land divine. It's in the ballot we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your ward, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine. Institution in your hand, a chance to guide and take a stand. Community rising, hearts aligned. In this moment, powers redefined. It's in the ballot where we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your board, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine. It's in the ballot where we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your board, your mayor in line.
Welcome back. And we're going to go into hard-hitting questions.
Hard-hitting questions. We don't get anything running. What does this question? Because every candidate has answered the hard-hitting questions.
All right. So, hard-hitting question number 1, Tahi. Do you support the introduction of targeted rates for specific projects? Why or why not? And we'll start with Richard.
Okay. Hard-hitting question number 1. Do I support the introduction of targeted rates? Let's be clear. This isn't a hard-hitting question. Targeted rates are to fund a specific council activity for a specific period. It's actually one of Aotearoa's best rating tools. So do I support targeted rates? Yes. Do I support introduction of every targeted rate? Absolutely not. If that targeted rate is for a vanity project, if it's a targeted rate for a project that is not clearly defined, what's the scope? What are the real benefits? What are the ratepayer benefits? Would I support a targeted rate for something that was unclear? No, I would fight it tooth and nail. One thing you can rely on me is that if I don't believe something is worth pursuing, if it's not delivering value, it's not in the interests of the people of Raumati and Paekākāriki that voted me there, I will oppose it. But targeted rates per se, targeted rates are actually a good thing. So let's not say targeted rates are bad. Let's just use them properly. Thank you.
Well said. Zelda.
No, I don't. Sorry, no. Our rates are pretty much maxed out. People are struggling. It's really hard to pay them. We have to. We need to find a way out. We need to look into more partnership projects. We need to look into more central government funding. And we need to invest and bring some more money back into our community. It's crucial. We can't process things the old school way. We need to be really clever and really smart and get the right people involved and around the room.
Pete.
Yeah, I'm going to say no, but it's all very well to say, well, we don't want to pay for Parapara Umu's skate park, but then who's going to pay for our seawall down in Raumati? But you might do it in a situation like where north of the Wharemoku stream, all of the seawalls along that coast are private. Now, that means we've got a lot of variety in terms of the quality and state of those seawalls. If that part of the community got together and said that they wanted to do something consistent collectively, collaboratively, it might make sense to do that through council. And in that case, you would do a targeted rate for those homeowners to protect their homes. But it wouldn't be a public asset. It would still be a private asset. And it would be particularly good if they were going to do something like roll out the eco reef along there.
All right, hard-hitting question number 2. Are you comfortable with the way the council manages its debt position? And Pete.
Me first.
You first.
Gee, debt in council, it's a big ugly thing. We've got a lot of debt, and when people come from having a household or small business budget experience, the debt levels in councils are pretty frightening. The reality is that as we've talked about earlier in the show, we do need to use debt to do things in council. So the debt is a reality and the numbers are a little bit scary. We need to do better. There's a question at the moment, should we be getting our debt down, which increases our rates over time to get that debt down with the hope that over time we benefit. My worry, though, is that a future council looks at the low debt rate and goes, hey, we've got lots of debt capacity, let's build a new swimming pool. So those are the sorts of balances that we need to be wary of. We borrow because we want the people who use the asset across its life to pay for it, but we've got to make sure that that debt is kept within payments, within what we can afford in terms of the rates that we generate.
Thank you, Pete. Zelda.
I agree with a lot that Beat's saying. It all makes sense. It's true, but I think we need to keep our checks. Oh, I've broken another mic. You found me? I'm good? Okay. Couple.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's all right. It does feel huge, and I think we've got to keep our checks and balances in place, because we can't just cap rates. That's equivalent to just buying your supermarket groceries and putting them on the credit card. You're still going to have to pay it, and it's going to be even more in the future. So we've got to try and reduce that debit. We've got to try and reduce the sequencing of these projects. And I think that's exactly why we need some fresh eyes on those budgets, and we need people who love spreadsheets.
Zelda, you love spreadsheets, right?
I really do.
All right, Richard.
Okay, hey, look, just put it out that I love spreadsheets as well. Zelda, we have a lot in common.
Man,
There we go.
man.
So let's talk debt. We all know that if we extend our mortgage, we pay less, but we pay longer, and in the long term, we pay more. It's no different with council debt. Council has got a huge amount of debt. I believe it's something like double the amount of debt of other comparable councils. Now, I'm not here to explain why we've got into that position. Yeah, there's two people sitting there, one from community board and one from a councillor, that can probably explain why we have so much debt. And I don't think we should have that much debt. But let's work from where we are. We should not be passing that debt on to our children and our grandchildren when we are benefiting from those investments today. So let's make sure that the debt repayments that we do need to make reflects the benefit that we are getting as ratepayers at the moment. If that's over 50 years, okay, it gets passed through. But if we're borrowing money to fund something now that's only going to last for 10 years, and we're going to ask people in 10, 20 years to pay for it, that's not right. So we need to make sure that we've got that debt repayment that reflects the benefits that we're getting from those assets now. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think we're on hard-hitting question number 3. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. A Maori constituency for Greater Wellington Regional Council, Te Upoko o Te Ika a Maui, is being established for the 2025 election alongside the Kapiti Coast Maori Ward. How would you ensure meaningful collaboration with Mana Whenua and support Maori leadership in regional planning and service delivery? And Zelda.
Cool. I think did we have this question earlier today?
It was for the community board.
Yeah, it did pop up.
So take 2.
Okay, well, I just want to say Māori is actually normal. And as an artist, a filmmaker, a writer, and someone who's also worked in local council and partnership projects, collaborating with iwi and hapu is normal. Every iwi and hapu are slightly different. So as long as you're coming from a good place in your heart and you're using appropriate tikanga or protocols, then you're going to end in a good way. You've also got to understand you can't come into that meeting with preconceived ideas. You need to come in open, you need to listen, and it's almost like a process of weaving. And when you approach that way, you get better results.
Richard. Your turn.
Developing together. I think also it's not as if this is revolutionary. We've had national Maori electorates for over 150 years. So what's happening now in the district and in the region is only really bringing into line what's been happening at a national level for say over 1.5 centuries. Absolutely, as with any change, there's going to be a period of bedding in, representatives, a period of adaptation of how all those processes are going to work. But there's nothing wrong, there's nothing bad in the fact that that's changing. I personally will treat all elected representatives with absolute professional respect because they have been chosen to represent their communities. And who am I to say, look, I don't believe that you should have a seat at the table when they are there representing their communities. So it's again, is it really a hard-hitting question? Am I going to work with other elected representatives? Absolutely, I'm going to work with other elected representatives. And that's what it's all about. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. So growing up with a Maori stepfather, Maori leadership is not something that's kind of foreign or scary for me. So it's something I'm used to. But in terms of working with Mana Whenua and collaborating, I guess first of all, they have to be willing and wanting to work with me, collaborate with me. So if they do, then I'm happy to help amplify their voice. Systemically, in terms of the structure of council, we have the Tiwok, Tiwara, Te Whakamenenga or Kapiti, which is where the 3 iwi actually connect with council directly. And through that relationship, that's where a lot of representation occurs. We've also now got a Maori ward established for at least this election. And so there will be that avenue as well. I would expect we've got 2 candidates currently standing for the Greater Wellington Regional Council in our district, Penny Gaylor and Sam Ferguson. And I fully expect that both of them will also be open to engaging with Maori. And so it would be my view as a ward councillor that if I can enable those relationships and elevate those voices, then that's what I'll do, but only if I'm wanted in that relationship.
All right, that brings us to the end of hard-hitting questions. Now the candidates have 1 minute to give their closing statements and randomly generating the list. Richard.
Okay, thank you for that, Nick. And also just to thank you, Nick, and also Sophie and your team for the amount of hard work you put in on events like this. You very much are the unsung heroes of democracy. So very much want to give you a big thanks and shout for that. This election, the ratepayers of Raumati and Paekākāriki have really got to understand and really want to vote for people that are going to bring skills to the table, that are going to allow us to navigate the crisis that we have in our economy and to move through and deliver infrastructure and to deliver the social infrastructure and the physical infrastructure that we need to make Raumati and Paekākāriki and also Kapiti the thriving district that we all know it's going to be. I believe, as Richard Young, that I do have those skills. I'm passionate about our communities. I'm passionate to work for them and absolutely committed to work for them. It's more than a full-time job, and I'm up for the challenge. So please vote Richard Young #1. Thank you.
Zelda.
Kia ora. With me, you get someone who's already had experience in local government and central government. I've written speeches for ministers, I've written comms briefings, but now this is the first time in my life where I can stand up for myself. I can stand up for my values, I can stand up for my community. And that's what I'll do, absolutely 100%. I'm committed to this. And people keep saying it's hard in politics. Do you know what? It's actually really hard working in comms where you're behind politicians. It actually brings me joy since I've made this decision to be part of this campaign, reconnecting with my community. It's just been the most rewarding thing, and I hope to continue that and expand on these relationships. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can develop. And I also want to congratulate Babe for the awesome projects that he's achieved, including the seawall. We need more innovation like that, that's going to protect our environment, that's sensible, that's smart, and partnering with other people who are willing to help. When you ask, you can get help. Vote for Zelda. Hashtag better Zelda.
Pete.
Yeah, thanks. Look, I think across the last 3 years as chair of the Raumati Community Board, I've seen quite an impressive list of achievements. Some of those are really tangible and some of them aren't. Some of them are just about the connections and relationships that we've built. We've got a long way to go, but we've started off well. If you're wondering who to vote for, you know, we're all asking you voting at the moment, but at some point that process ends. And after that vote, who are you going to trust to speak to you? Who are you going to trust to listen to you? Who has shown that they're already willing and able to do things that need to be done in order to represent your interests properly at council? I think I've done enough to show that I can and I will. And I will treat it as a full-time role, not as a part-time role, because you simply can't do this job as a part-time role. So if you want to know who the best representative is for the Paekākāriki and Raumati ward, obviously, I think it's me. That'll be for you to decide. I do admit we've got some good candidates, but I think that if you're wondering what I'm about, just look at what I've done, because who I am after the vote will be who I am before it. Thank you.
And can I just say, everyone needs to vote. We need different people to vote for. Everyone needs to get out there. Get your neighbours, get your friends. That's how we support democracy.
Cannot stress that enough.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I would like to thank everyone for making this happen. The candidates, give them a round of applause. And our wonderful audience. And of course, Sam, Laura, Stacy. Have I forgotten anyone?
Online people.
Oh, they are part of our audience. I do not differentiate. Oh, come on. There we go. Double digits. Double digits.
So it's not just what's live, it's who watches it after.
Yeah, yeah.
Still live?
Now, yeah, we are. Yeah,
I was still like,
yeah, we're relaxed. We're
So
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So really, really quick. It's in the Ballot is a nonprofit organization that is volunteer driven and gets by on small dollar donations, and whatever's in Sam's pockets. So Yeah, you can visit our Give a Little page. Any koha would be great. You can also use our bank account on our Facebook page, I believe.
No, website.
Website.
Ballot.nz, you go to donate here, donate here is where the link to the bank account number is, which delivers the least fees and the quickest delivery.
Okay, I hope everyone got that. All right. Well, once again, thank you very much. And we will see you back here at 6 o'clock.